The stars above Velmora Prime shimmered like shattered glass, cold, distant, and indifferent. Lyra Valen had always felt they suited her. She stood alone at the edge of the Grand Ascension Hall, watching nobles glide across the luminous floor, their bodies adorned with bioluminescent fabrics that shifted color with emotion. Laughter echoed in soft chimes, engineered to sound pleasing to every species present. None of it was meant for her. Still here, a voice sneered behind her. Lyra didn't turn. She already knew who it was. Sereth Tal, heir to one of the dominant houses of Velmora, stepped into view anyway, his scaled skin gleaming under the hall's adaptive lights. "You know," he continued, sipping from a crystalline glass, "the council really should have spared you the humiliation. This is a mating convocation, not a pity exhibition." Lyra said nothing. Sereth leaned closer. "Nobody wants you." The words were not new. She had heard them whispered since she was a child, ever since her mutation manifested. Among the Velmorians, perfection was expected. Symmetry, grace, radiant skin that reflected status, and genetic purity. Lyra had none of that. Her skin did not glow. It absorbed light, a dull matte against the brilliance of others. Her eyes were a strange silver, not the vibrant spectrum her people prized. And worst of all, her biosignature, the energetic aura every Velmorian emitted, was unstable, unpredictable, dangerous. "No house will take you," Sereth added, straightening. "And without a bond, you're nothing. A genetic dead end." Lyra turned then, meeting his gaze with quiet defiance. "I didn't come here to be chosen," she said softly. Sereth laughed. "Then why are you here?" She didn't answer, because the truth was she didn't know. The Grand Ball of Ascension wasn't just a social event, it was a political battlefield. Alliances were forged, bloodlines merged, and power redistributed through carefully arranged bonds. At the center of it all stood the Alpha throne. Empty. The Alpha King had not yet arrived. And that alone made the atmosphere tense. He was not Velmorian. He was not even from the sector. He was human. The first time Lyra had heard that, she thought it was a joke. Humans were a relatively new species in the galactic stage, fragile, short-lived, and wildly unpredictable. But they had done something no one expected. They had survived. Against all odds, against stronger empires and older civilizations, humanity had carved its place into the galaxy through sheer resilience. And at their head now stood a single figure, the one the Velmorian Council had, for reasons still debated, crowned as Alpha King. Kale Ardent. No one truly understood why. But everyone feared him. Attention! A voice rang through the hall. The music dimmed. Conversation stilled. The great doors at the far end of the hall began to open. Lyra felt it before she saw him. A pressure. Not oppressive, but undeniable. The air itself seemed to shift. Then he stepped in. Kale Arden did not glow like the Velmorians. He didn't need to. He wore a dark uniform, simple compared to the ornate attire around him, but it carried a weight that silenced the room. His presence was grounded, solid, human. And yet, every instinct in Lyra's body reacted to him, not with fear, but recognition. The nobles bowed as he passed. Even Sereth lowered his head. Lyra did not. She couldn't. She was too busy trying to understand why her unstable biosignature, something that had always betrayed her, was suddenly calm, steady. For the first time in her life, Kale moved through the crowd with quiet authority, acknowledging greetings with minimal gestures. His gaze swept the room, not dismissive, not searching, but aware. Always aware. Then, he stopped. The music faltered. The entire hall seemed to hold its breath. because the Alpha King had just broken protocol. He had stopped before the dance began, and he was looking directly at her. Lyra felt her heart stutter.
No.
Not her. Anyone but her. But there was no one else behind her. The silence stretched. Then Cale Arden spoke. Why are you standing alone? The question was simple, but in that hall, it might as well have been a declaration. Lyra swallowed. Because no one asked me to dance. A ripple of laughter moved through the crowd, quickly stifled. Cale tilted his head slightly. Did you want them to? She hesitated. Then, quietly, no. Something in his expression shifted. Not amusement. Approval. Behind him, one of the council elders stepped forward urgently. Your Majesty, the ceremony must proceed. Cale raised a hand. The elder fell silent instantly. The Alpha King turned fully toward Lyra. Good, he said. Then, without another word, he extended his hand. Gasps erupted across the hall. Saratha's glass shattered in his grip. You will dance with me, Cale said. It wasn't a request, but it wasn't a command either. It was inevitable. Lyra stared at his hand. This couldn't be real. This had to be some elaborate humiliation. A test.
A mistake.
You don't know what you're doing, she whispered. Cale's eyes met hers, steady, unshaken. I do. You'll regret it. No, he said simply. I won't. Slowly, as if moving through a dream, Lyra placed her hand in his. The moment their skin touched, the world changed. Her biosignature surged, then stabilized. Perfectly. The music restarted, but softer now, uncertain. Cale led her to the center of the hall. Every eye followed them. Every breath waited. I don't understand, Lyra murmured as they began to move. You don't have to, Cale replied. You're making a mistake. I don't make those. She frowned. That sounds arrogant. He almost smiled. It's experience. They moved together effortlessly, despite the fact that their species had entirely different movement patterns. It shouldn't have worked, but it did. Perfectly. Why me? She asked finally. Cale was silent for a moment. Then, because you're the only one here who isn't pretending. Lyra blinked. What? He met her gaze again. Everyone else in this room is performing. Status. Power. Perfection. His grip tightened slightly, not possessive, but grounding. You're the only one who stopped trying. She looked away. That's not a compliment. It is, he said. Where I come from, honesty is rare. The dance slowed. The room seemed to shrink around them. Your energy, Cale continued quietly. It's not unstable. Lyra stiffened. You don't know that. I do, he said. It's unfiltered. Her breath caught. That's why they fear you, he added. Because they can't control it. For a moment, Lyra forgot where she was. Forgot the crowd. Forgot the whispers. All my life, she said softly, they told me I was broken. Cale shook his head. No, he said. They just didn't know what you were. The music ended, but neither of them moved. Then Cale turned to the assembled nobles, and his voice carried across the entire hall. This gathering was meant to establish bonds, he said. Let it be known. Lyra's heart stopped. I have chosen. Silence. Absolute silence. The council elder stepped forward again, pale. Your Majesty, you cannot. She is unregistered. Her genetics are unstable. Enough. Cale didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. She is under my protection, he said. And more than that, he turned back to Lyra. And for the first time, there was something almost human in his expression. Something softer. She is mine. The hall erupted. Outrage. Shock. Disbelief. Sarath stepped forward, fury blazing in his eyes. This is an insult. You would bind yourself to her? She's nothing. Kale's gaze snapped to him. And in that instant, every sound died. Careful, Kale said quietly, or you'll remind everyone why your house is declining. Sareth froze. Because everyone knew. The Alpha King didn't make threats. He made outcomes. The silence that followed was heavy. Final. Kale looked back at Lyra. Come with me. She hesitated. Just for a second. Looking around the hall. At the faces that had dismissed her. Mocked her. Rejected her. Then she took his hand. And didn't let go. Ending the stars above Valmora, Prime looked different now. Warmer. Closer.
Alive.
Weeks had passed since the ball. And everything had changed. Lyra stood at the observation deck of the Alpha Citadel, her reflection faint against the vastness of space. Her skin still didn't glow. Her eyes were still silver. But her energy, her biosignature, it no longer flickered. It flowed.
Steady.
Controlled. Powerful. Behind her, the doors slid open. You're doing it again. Kale's voice. She smiled faintly, watching the stars. Thinking you don't belong among them. Lyra turned. That obvious? He stepped beside her. Yes. For a moment, they stood in silence. Then she spoke. You changed everything. Kale shook his head. No, he said. You did. She frowned. I didn't do anything. You existed, he replied. And that was enough. Lyra looked out at the stars again. For the first time, she said softly, I don't feel like I have to hide. Kale nodded. Good. She glanced at him. What happens now? He met her gaze. And for once, the Alpha King hesitated. Just slightly. Now, he said, we build something new. Below them, Valmora Prime continued to turn. But the galaxy beyond, the galaxy that had once dismissed humanity, dismissed her, was already shifting. Because the Alpha King had made his choice. And he had chosen the one no one else wanted. But they were about to learn. That was their greatest mistake.